Welcome to this week's edition of World Crisis Radio. Webster Tarpley reporting to you from Washington, D.C. This is our Thanksgiving weekend edition. So we want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. It is the quintessential American holiday. We have to celebrate the many good things in the history of our country. We're putting aside Howard Zinn and his Chronicles of Pus and looking for a balanced picture of the lights and the shadows, but certainly not the Manichaean demonology of the modern mushhead liberal theory of history, nor yet the mad dog libertarian version, the Confederate complaints that go on and on. So happy Thanksgiving to all, and be of good cheer. Now, we have the unfolding crisis around Syria, Turkey, Daesh, ISIS, ISIL, the Islamic State, the Caliphate. And in particular, this morning, we have the shooting down illegally by the Turkish government of the madman Erdogan. Erdogan is a madman. Davutoglu is a madman. The neo-Ottoman clique now in power in Ankara, right? A terrible distortion of the great Turkish nation. These political adventurers, these lunatics, right? These people claiming the right to live in the past of the Ottoman Empire. There will be no new Ottoman Empire. Sorry, boys, not going to happen. But what we have this morning is the shooting down of a Russian airplane, that is to say, a Su-24, a Sukhoi 24, called Fencer in the NATO classifications. It looks like this was done by two F-16s from Turkey, sold by the United States, needless to say. There are some other reports, even from the Russian Defense Ministry, that it was hit by a surface-to-air missile. President Putin of Russia has correctly condemned this, and he has pointed to the fact that the aircraft was in Syrian territory. In other words, the territory of a country which has officially invited Russia to provide assistance. And therefore, this is an act of war by Turkey, an act of war by the madman Erdogan and his sidekick Davutoglu. And don't be too complacent, oh Americans, because those guys under the NATO treaty have supposedly the capability to drag you into World War III for their crackpot operations. And we'll be illustrating here, as we have been, the background of this. It has to do with the fact that ISIS is collapsing militarily. ISIS is on the ropes. ISIS is being decimated. The whole northwest Syrian front is about to cave in. And it looks to me that the underlying narrative of this shoot-down, to which we will try to do justice with some details, but the essence of the thing is that this aircraft, the Sukhoi 24 Fencer, was flying over an area which is right now the main area where ISIS is collapsing. And please forgive me if I say ISIS instead of Daesh and ISIL and Islamic State and Caliphate and all these other things. Just ISIS, shorthand for that. Please bear with me. I'll try to throw in a Daesh from time to time because it seems to be some kind of an insult. So we want to insult them as much as we can, but we still have to make themselves understood. Here's what I would invite you to do. Take a look at tarpley.net. Go to tarpley.net right now, tarpley.net. We have a headline that says, ISIS-Daesh positions in northwest Syria reported close to envelopment, collapse, as M4 highway supply line is about to be cut. Putin and Rouhani pledged to defeat terrorism. Well, under that, the terrorist front in northwest Syria appears close to collapse. And this is an interview I did yesterday being Monday, the 10th of November. I have to remind you now, we're not going to be exactly up to date because we're recording on the afternoon of Tuesday, the 24th of November, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, right? Paying our due to the holiday. But so here's an interview that I did with Press TV of Iran. Now, keep going a little bit further down. And here you see a map of precisely Syria with a red circle around the area of Latakia and Kasab. It is a kind of protuberance of Turkey. It's a parrot's beak, I guess we would have called it, pointed down, pointed south. The Turkish city of Antioch and the bay with Iskenderun, right on the Mediterranean, right, very close to the water. So you're going to see a map with a red circle around essentially the city of Kasab, because Kasab seems to be Kasab. It's K-A-S-S-A-B, K-E-S-S-A-B. It varies, right? We know the eternal problem of transliterating Arabic into English, but Kasab, K-E-S-S-A-B, K-A-S-S-A-B, you're going to get it. We had a good source, and this is a source I would like to thank, who alerted us to this situation. The short, long and the short of it is, quote, the access of the Turkish military and terrorists to Latakia province, right, this critical part of the Assad base, the Alawite area, and again, where the Russian base is. The access of Turkish military and terrorists to Latakia province is now 100% dependent on the M4 highway, and from there to minor roads. Should the terrorist defenses collapse on positions north of M4, which is not very far from happening, then the Syrian army will have artillery control, artillery dominance over the M4 highway, and the terrorist rebel rats inside Latakia province will be doomed. So this is maybe it's a mini Stalingrad, but it's an encirclement, exactly as my headline says. It's an envelopment. It's where you trap them in a kessel, right? In a pot, as Marshal MacMahon said at one point in the Franco-Prussian War. We're in a chamber pot, and guess what's going to happen to us? That's exactly what's going to happen to these terrorist rebels in that area. Okay, so this is Tarpley.net. Go to it right now. Take a look. Look at this map. Look at our red circle. And now I'm going over to the London Guardian, and they have a continuous feed, as a number of publications around the world do, to see what's going on over there. Here I find a map. Russian warplane downed, and here we see that parrot speak of Turkey. It's called Hatay, H-A-T-A-Y. We see the city of Iskenderun. Iskenderun is where a lot of the terrorist forces from Libya were shipped in by NATO to then be deployed in northern Syria to attack Aleppo and all these other places. And there we see at the lower end of the parrot speak of Turkey, they have their red circle too, area where plane crashed. So check out my red circle, and then check out the Guardian's red circle. Surprise! I think their red circle falls within the one that we put up on the morning briefing last night, before any of this happened. So what do we learn? We learned that our morning briefing is required reading. That's the first thing we learned. But now we're going to tell you what else we learned in just a second here on World Crisis Radio. The next segment now of World Crisis Radio. Webster Tarpley here in Washington, D.C. And again, it's the afternoon of Tuesday, the 24th of November. We're taping early because of the Thanksgiving holiday. I hope in the very near future, we're also going to be able to come to you for an hour a day of audio video, in other words, an internet TV service, which in addition to our current World Crisis Radio, right, on top of it, in my intentions anyway, we'll be able to keep up with these things a little bit more. But right now, we can give you, I think, the conceptual overview, which probably will not change through Thanksgiving weekend. So we're talking, for those of us joining us now, Sukhoi 24 Fencer aircraft of the Russian Air Force has been shot down by the bandits of Erdogan and Davutoglu, the mad dogs of Turkey. I'm sorry, I'm a friend of Turkey, but Erdogan and Davutoglu have to go. Therefore, we have a Russo-Turkish crisis. Go back to the beginning of the 19th century, you're going to see that there's a Russo-Turkish war about every 20 to 25 years. God forbid. We don't want it. It must be avoided. So it is an act of war, and I would just stress again, the reason that this is happening, in my view, is that the terrorist positions in that southernmost corner of Turkey, this parrot's beak, this protuberance of Turkey, which sticks down along the Mediterranean coast. It includes Antioch, and it approaches the Syrian town of Kasab. Go to tarpley.net, take a look at that article. ISIS-Daesh positions in northwest Syria are close to envelopment. The terrorist front in northwest Syria appears close to collapse. It is a desperation move by Erdogan in the light of the fact that his terrorist irregular army, his CIA secret army, that he has now increasingly taken over, is in bad shape. It's being bombed by the Russians. It's being pressed by the very brave Syrian Arab army. And a whole army, right? Like von Paulus at Stalingrad, his whole congeries of terrorists there in the northwest corner of Syria, the far south of Turkey, they're about to be rolled up. They're going to be wiped out. They're going to be taken and pocketed. It's going to be a pocket. It's going to be not the battle of the Falaise pocket. It's going to be the the battle of the Kasab pocket, and lots of terrorists are going to be ending up there. So look at that red circle that we had last night, 12 hours ago, and then switch over to the Guardian. Again, the page I see: Russian warplane downed. Their circle, area where plane crashed, and it's exactly this area of Kasab. So my hypothesis is this is a Russian reconnaissance aircraft which has been sent to get the picture on the front. Where are the terrorist rebels? Are they retreating? Because a lot of them are. A lot of them are deserting. A lot of them are just going over the hill, right? They're bugging out. Terrorists bug. So the plane is flying over them, and the Turks freak out, and they then start shooting. Now, here's the other thing. The Turkish rules of engagement are themselves a flagrant violation of international law and proper international practice. This is absolutely inadmissible. We had a woman on the National Public Radio, right? Morning edition today, between 9 and 10 a.m. Eastern time. So this woman is a Turkish journalist. I don't have her name. We'll find it. I'll put it up on Twitter later today when I get the chance. So she says, "Oh, the Turks have rules of engagement," or she just says there are rules of engagement, and the rule of engagement is if you get within 8 kilometers of the Turkish border in the air, then they'll shoot you down. Oh, is that right? And then she didn't mention this, but then there's the other one is if you have land forces and they get within 15 kilometers of the Turkish border, then they'll start shooting at you. In other words, if the Syrian Arab army proposes to march up to its own frontier, its own legal, internationally recognized border, long-standing with Turkey, as soon as you cross the 15-kilometer mark, the Turks will start shooting. Now, of course, the obvious question was, hey, lady whose